Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, Andy here. I coach men and women on living lives of abundance and joy. If they can do it, you sure as hell can too. And I'm joined by this beautiful little piece of ass, my girlfriend. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, you like that intro?
No.
But we had this coaching client who absolutely crushed it in his time in the coaching. He dated 11 women, started approaching for the first time in his life. He had sex with a woman that he approached in a bar. He opened up and was honest and vulnerable with the women that he's dating. He started seeing rejection as a good thing instead of being terrified of it. He's now dating 3 women at the same time. He quit porn, quit drugs, overcame a ton of his limiting beliefs, was able to finally move on from an ex that he had been grieving over for the last year or two. He had kinky sex with a girl who slapped him in the face. Yeah, you like that one. Realized he had the power to do anything he wants and really embraced gratitude and love and peace in his life. So,
Did he want to be slapped in the face, or was it like she
okay,
kind of just
so
did it?
listen, we are going to talk about that. So, everyone, like, calm down. It was unexpected, it was unanticipated, and he liked it. So, we'll talk
There you
about
go.
that in a little bit. So, we'll read out his final post, and obviously, I have his permission to read this out. So, this is the last post that he made as he was finishing up. I've been putting off writing my final post since I imagined it would take a while, so this is me embracing permission to suck and just giving it a go. The last 4 months have been a ton of fun. I'm still amazed with the amount of mental and mindset changes that I've made in the past 4 months, while also getting some fun, sexy achievements along the way.
I came into this coaching group pretty fresh out of a breakup and with a lot of feelings of anxiety, pessimism around dating. In a way, I felt like a lot of the exciting things in my life had already passed, and while I knew there were a ton of other ways of thinking out there, I felt like my sadness would stick around and that my thinking probably wouldn't change a whole lot. With that said, I loved Andy's message and was curious to see what could happen, and I'm so glad I did. From the all of the things that you read out at the beginning, it's almost the one that I was impressed by the most, like getting over an ex, because I think that's something that some people can hang on to
For literally years or decades or the rest
for.
of their life.
Obviously, I'm not involved in the coaching process, but for whatever was happening in that time, in that like 3 or so months, to be able to like let go and overcome that, like, is pretty impressive, and I'm sure a huge relief for him
Yeah,
as
we
well.
have a lot of guys and girls that come to the coaching that have been stuck on an ex or feeling like they missed out on the one that got away. You know, I should have hit on that girl. I should have made more moves. I shouldn't have screwed it up. It's something that's actually really common is people going through either a breakup or heartbreak or something that happened years ago and not being able to move past it and being stuck in that regret. And a lot of that feeling of like regret is because you haven't moved on and gone and talked to more people, or you haven't shown yourself that there's other options out there. And so when you're the person who's in a scarcity mindset, like you literally think there's nobody else on the planet who can match up to your ex or the one that got away, then yeah, you just walk around constantly going, I fucked up, I made a mistake, I screwed up. But we talk a lot in the coaching and in this content about focusing on playing to win. So focusing on what you want. I'm going to go talk to more people. I'll go win. I'll go find the next person rather than obsessing about a loss. You know, I missed out on my ex or I screwed up with my ex. I lost. The game isn't over. Your life isn't over because you missed out on your ex or something. You can just go and talk to more people. So yeah, his mindset changed a hell of a lot. He came a hell of a long way. When he came to the group, he was very sad, very heartbroken, and he quickly jumped on the train of action of like, okay, I'm just going to embrace this. I'm going to take leaps of faith. I don't know what's going to happen. I might even get slapped in the face by a hot woman and have wild kinky sex. And that is what happened with him. But yeah, he was an absolute warrior.
I set my goals as the following: being real, funny, honest, and vulnerable with girls while dating, overcoming anxieties in the bedroom and becoming a more present partner, mindset, and building an awesome relationship.
Yeah, a lot of people come to the coaching for the first one, especially. Like a lot of you listening have gone through so much mainstream dating advice, which is often just like, just be yourself and just wait, and the right one will come along. And you're like, motherfucker, I've been waiting for like 10 years. When's the right one going to come? Just wait a little bit longer. I promise. When you're sitting at home, not ever leaving the house and not talking to anyone, and all you do is work your computer science or coding job, you're just magically going to meet the right girl somehow magically. That's a lot of mainstream advice. Or it'll kind of go down this pathway of like the pickup artist stuff and like manipulate and say this and this is the perfect line and make sure you don't fuck it up. You got to be an alpha male, make sure you're perfect all the time. A lot of you come here because there's a few other channels like us and quite a lot of people out there saying, just be fucking honest, just tell the truth. That's a lot of the reason why you're here. And this guy in particular was just done with all the games and all of that pressure that you feel on yourself or that you put on yourself to be perfect. And so he came to just say, can I just tell girls that they're pretty and then see if they want to go out with me? And we were like, yeah, man, like that's what this is. So he did a lot with that. He was really scared to be honest and upfront. He was one of the people who's really afraid to walk up to a girl in a bar, especially, and say, yo, you're cute. Like, can we chat? Can we talk? Like, you're cool. You seem cool. So he did a lot there. Anxieties in the bedroom. Yeah, he was very nervous, didn't have a whole lot of experience, which is a lot of you. A lot of you have these terrifying fears of like performance anxiety and all of that. But again, it's something where it's like, you don't have to put pressure on yourself. Just do your best, have fun. Sex is allowed to be fun. It doesn't need to involve you jumping through a bunch of hoops and being a perfect partner with a big fucking perfect hard dick 24/7. Just do your best. So he did a lot. So here are some of the things I accomplished. Actions going towards fear. I signed up for coaching and almost had a panic attack on the call. Yeah, he did. So
I think you told me about this after the call, but you didn't really realize, and he kind of told you after the fact.
yeah, so for full context, the way the coaching program works is you go through the coaching page, you fill out a little form saying what you want to work on, what your struggles are, blah, 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 how I can help or how we can help, blah, blah, blah. And then you and I will jump on a free call and talk through things. You know, what are you struggling with? I'll give a bit of free coaching. I'll give a bit of advice. Ask where you're at. Figure out if you want to do the coaching or not. Figure out the details. Do you want a payment plan? Blah, blah, blah. And so that's the call that he's talking about. This is a pretty common thing that guys or girls will be on that call and they'll basically have a big fucking freak out. And I'm almost just there to be like, it's okay. Like everything's okay. Because there's a lot of like pressure that you put on yourself when you're about to make the decision, when you're like, I don't know if I want to do this coaching thing. I want to, but I'm scared. It will mean changing my life. It means I have to be a different person. What if I can't make it? What if I'm not good enough? What if I show up and don't make the most of the coaching? There's all of those sort of fears. Obviously, I'm there to help and talk through all of that. But yeah, this is a pretty common thing that someone will be like, I don't know if I can do this. And I'm like, it's okay. Like nothing bad happens if you can't do this. Nothing bad happens if you say no. Your life doesn't fall apart if you don't sign up for coaching. What people usually are wanting from me, and I just ask them, I say, what would you like from me? And the answer that most people give is like, I want to, I'm just scared. Like, please, like, make me do it or please help me. And I'm like, I'm not going to make you do it. But yes, I'm right here. We can talk through your fears until you feel better. Yes, I will help you make this decision. So he definitely had a little freak out. And that's a pretty common thing. There are so many people that just fall apart and they're like, I can't do this, man. I don't know if this is me. I don't know if I'm good enough.
Sure. And it wasn't like the obvious, like sitting there and hyperventilating type panic attack. But I think even the fact that which is why you didn't necessarily realize, that can kind of just come across as a bit nervous sometimes.
And everyone's nervous on those calls. Like everyone is nervous who gets on a coaching call with me.
And I think there's actually a lot of bravery in just being able to admit that, to say like,
for sure.
I was freaking out, and to acknowledge that rather than trying to pretend that it didn't happen. Like there's a lot of vulnerability there. And it sounds like from everything that this guy was doing, he gave a lot of himself.
He was very vulnerable. He definitely went all in. He did a good job.
And as a result, then you do get the results that you are seeking, especially if you're wanting that honesty and like genuine connection with women in dating.
You want to read point number 2?
Bought a vibrator?
Yeah, so he, like a lot of men, was very scared to buy a vibrator.
You were when you first
I was terrified to buy sex toys, yeah.
got into more kinky sex.
Yep, I had all sorts of ego stories about like, doesn't this mean I'm not good enough? Doesn't this mean that I don't get all the credit for making a woman feel good? I was nervous to just go into a sex toy shop. I was nervous to order a vibrator on the internet because like, what if the mailman, the postal guy, sees that it's a fucking dildo and it's like they put it in discreet packaging for that reason.
It's funny though, because the last building that we were in, the guy that we were friends with at reception, I think we got something from Love Honey.
Yeah,
and it says Love Honey on the box, and he was like, I know what this is.
Yeah, so the guy that worked at the building that we lived at literally would look at all of our mail because like he wouldn't open it up, but he'd see it and then he'd hand it to me. And a few times he was like, I know what this is. And I was like, what? And he's like, I know what this is. And I was like, yeah, man, yeah. So buying a vibrator was a big deal for this guy and is for a lot of people. Because it's the start of like your kink journey. And a lot of people put pressure on themselves when they start buying sex toys or BDSM stuff or kinky stuff. They're like, I have to know how to use this. I have to do a good job. It's like, no, you don't. You can literally buy a vibrator. And then the next girl that you date or sleep with or whatever, you can say, hey, I got this. How do I use this? And she'll go, okay, well, here's how you use it. Or I don't know, let's figure it out. Like vibrators aren't that complicated, but yeah, other sex toys can be a little bit strange. You're like, how does this work? So you figure it out together. You don't have to be the goddamn expert. He goes on to say he got a buzz cut. That was something he'd wanted his entire life.
Did it look
Like,
good?
yeah,
I feel
no, it
like
looked
only
cool.
certain people can pull off a buzz cut,
No, he pulled it off. He looked good. He joined the bald brigade, so I respect him for that.
which is funny because I think like girls, it's not really like, oh, I love guys with buzz cuts, but I think guys are always really
Men fucking get
excited
up.
for
Look at
it
this shit. Look at
because
this.
I think
Men,
it's
look at this. Oh,
that's
I
not
know
a buzz
I don't
cut.
have a buzz cut. I got a beautiful bald head, but look at this.
But I think
Men
they get
men are
excited about
literally-
it because it's easy and
It's
like
cool as
no
fuck.
effort.
Look at this. Men are looking at this right now, like sat there, like this is a fucking.
And
handsome
generally
man. Look at this.
speaking,
Ready?
when guys chop off all their hair, I'm like, oh, why have you done
Other
that?
men are like fucking.
But
good
that
job,
being said,
bro.
I keep fantasizing about getting a bob, and I think most guys are like, I like women with long hair.
Yeah, what
So-
are you talking about? So many chicks chop their hair off, especially in the age of 2025. Anyway, can we read out this gentleman's fucking wins? This poor gentleman has been sitting on my hard drive for 6 months and I haven't read out his wins.
given it's been that long, you can wait another 10 minutes.
Yeah.
He outsourced his laundry and cooking, and this was actually a game changer for him.
Yeah, so we have a video in the coaching program where I literally talk. So in the coaching program, we have a video library like that people can watch all these videos, like members only content just for coaching clients. And one of them is like how to outsource parts of your life, how to delegate things in your life. And he watched that and he's like, holy shit, I never thought about the fact that things that I don't like doing in my home, like doing my washing, doing my cooking, cleaning the house, I could just pay someone like $15 an hour and they would do that for me. And I was like, yeah, man. So you could just pay someone to like do that stuff and that would like save you all that time. And so that saved him so much time. That was such a huge thing. And that's a really common thing. Like a lot of people, if they come into the coaching program, they probably have some amount of money. Some people aren't in that boat and they take a payment plan. But this guy had a little bit of money. So that was a huge thing for him. That freed up so much time.
And I think as well as freeing up time, there's almost this, it's almost about freeing up energy as well. Like it takes effort and energy to do things that you don't want to do. And for this guy's example, like if you are like approaching women, like that can be a very like nerve-wracking thing that takes a bit of like emotional energy for some guys, especially if it's not something you've practiced a lot before. And that also takes quite a bit of energy. And if you've spent your whole day just like doing day-to-day like house tasks that you don't enjoy and using up your energy there, like that can count for a lot. And it can mean that you don't have the drive to go out and do like the more challenging aspects of some of your goals. And so it can make a more profound difference than you might realize.
For sure.
It's not just like, oh, I saved like half an hour here.
Did my first daytime approach. So the first woman he'd ever walked up to during the daytime and hit on. Also got his first phone number from that. Also talked to a bunch of women and hit on them at nighttime. Had sex and got slapped in the face at night in a club.
Wait, it was in the club?
Yep, we're going to talk about that in a little
Wait,
bit.
he said had sex at the club?
No,
Oh,
no.
was it just...
Got slapped in the face and made out with a girl and they were extremely sexual in a club. I'll say it like that. And had a date from nighttime approach and got slapped in the face. So he did a whole lot. He had, like I said, he went on like 10 dates with women. He got to a point where he's having sex with 3 women at the same time, seeing all of them at the same time. So he did a hell of a lot there.
He had sex with 2 women that he was very attracted to, both body and personality.
Yep, he had sex with a few more women than that, but like 2 that he was like, holy crap, I love these 2 women.
What I could see being very impactful about that is that it's like it's breaking through those limiting beliefs of like, this is something I can't do, or something you've told me a lot about clients is like, there's like a certain level of attractiveness for certain women, and guys can be like, she's out of my league, and there's like nothing I can do that would make her attracted to me. And I think realizing that they're people that have different preferences, and not all women need you to look like a god, whether they're
Plus,
attractive.
You're not an accurate judge of whether or not, like, you don't know if she'll find you attractive. She might think you are a god. You haven't checked.
Exactly.
Yeah, and a lot of the time, like, you have this limiting belief of, like, she's too hot for me. If you walk up and be like, hi, are you too hot for me? She'll be like, no, you seem cool. What's up? And you're like, oh, shit. Like, if you actually just, like, go do a fucking survey, go to a club or go outside during the daytime, walk up to the hottest women that you can see and be like, hey, do you think that you're better than me and too hot for me? And they'll be like, some of them will be like, they won't say yes, but like they'll give you the impression of like it's probably a yes in their mind. Yeah, I wouldn't date you. Some of them will just be like, no, like you seem nice. Like, hi, what's your name? And you'll be like, holy fuck, what the fuck? I could literally hit on women by saying, are you too good for me? And that could be my fucking start of a conversation, which is, yeah, I agree, the most cringeworthy.
I wouldn't recommend it.
But why not? Go fucking do that with 100 women. Go literally ask, are you too good for me? Are you too hot for me? And you'll find a couple that will be like, no, I don't think so. And then they'll talk to you and you'll be like, wow, holy shit. Maybe I was the judgmental one, judging myself and judging them. I'm judging them and saying they would only get with someone who's super fucking hot and attractive and a big alpha male. That's 2 rounds of judgment. maybe they're just not as judgmental as you. So yeah, that was a big eye opener for him for sure. He goes on to say he was super open, honest, and raw in the bedroom for sure. And that's obviously what we help a lot of coaching clients with, how to be more honest with people that you're dating, how to be more honest in the whole sexual dynamic, how to be honest with dating, and not play these games and be in your own head. You can just say what you want, you can ask what they want, and if there's some compatibility there, you have some sexy times together.
Yeah, then he goes on to say that he made a sexual bucket list and started crossing things off it. And that's something that we recommend for anybody that wants to, I guess, explore more in the bedroom, figure out what they like, try new things, have more fun.
And he's casually dating 3 women right now, all of whom are open, sexy, and energetic. So this is such a big thing for him because he went from not having a lot of experience. He'd never approached anyone during the day, never hit on anyone at night, hadn't really gone out at night very much. And he was one of the people who just went all in with taking action. Like he just had so much fun. He was one of the people that was really able to embrace our message of like this process, this self-improvement and this dating stuff is allowed to be fun. You're allowed to just walk up to people, see what happens. You don't have to have expectations. You don't have to do a good job and talk to people and hit on them and see what happens. And that's what he did. And he's sleeping with 3 women right now. Absolute legend.
So when it comes to dating, this guy went on dates with 11 different women. He dated a 20-year-old, a 30-year-old, a racist, and had back-to-back dates in one day.
Let's talk about the racist. That's what everyone's looking at that going, wait, a racist? Yeah. This has happened multiple times. There's a woman,
Multiple times?
not with him, but with different clients. Yeah, this come up multiple times. Yeah, for sure.
There you go.
Yeah, so I've told you about the female that was in our coaching group like most recently. There was a woman in our coaching group and she
I'm sorry, I don't think we've ever gone on a date with someone that's turned out to be racist.
us. Yeah, because we're beginners. We don't know what we're doing. We need to go find the racists. Because I probably would screen them out. I don't know. I'd catch some. I don't know.
Anyway.
I feel like I'd catch some whiff of judgmentalism or something. Like, you know, when they start talking about like, yeah, I think all the blacks should be executed. I'd probably be like, I don't know how I feel about that one. I respect and love your opinion and all of that, but no thanks. Anyway, so we had a female most recently in the coaching program. She went on a date with a guy who had like Nazi books in his like, and she literally snuck a picture of his library and showed it to us on the next group coaching call. And there's literally like Nazi symbolism and everything. And I was like, maybe he's just researching that stuff. And she's like, no. I asked him questions about it. And like, he's definitely researching it, but not from an interesting historical point of view. And I was like, okay, fair enough. So she didn't go on a date with him again. And then this guy, went on a date with a girl. And I can't remember the full details because, again, this was like 6 months or more ago. I do remember that she very much didn't like the people of Jewish persuasion or belief. And she very much had some strong opinions there. And there's someone in our audience, expert cheek clapper. If you're listening right now, brother, hello. He has made many comments and talked about this, that he was with a girl for a couple of years that was like gaslighting him into believing like, you know what, Hitler didn't do anything wrong. Like those Jewish people kind of had it coming. And he was just like, I guess I have to just put up with this because like, where am I ever going to find another girlfriend? So yeah, anyway, this guy went on a date with someone who wasn't too fond of a certain religion or ethnicity group of Jewish people. And that's where we'll leave it.
This might sound obvious, but I'm sure it's an interesting experience. And we've talked about this a bit before, but like the idea that you're somebody that's seeking more sexual or dating experience, and then somebody can have traits where like, actually, I don't want to pursue things. Like I'm gonna and obviously someone being a racist is a very obvious big thing where you're like, yeah, that's gonna be a no for me, regardless of whether I want to get more experience. But I'm sure it's a very helpful and almost enlightening interaction to be like, actually, like I'm allowed to say no and be the one that's
for a lot of men. Yeah, that's life-changing to realize that you have the power to say no. You have abundance. When you start realizing I don't have to sleep with every single person who would sleep with me or go on a date with me, as a man, that's powerful. Most women understand that, although some with low self-esteem maybe haven't gotten there yet, fair enough. But most men don't know that by default, that I don't have to just stick my penis in every single thing that would possibly let me stick my penis inside it, because you just don't have a lot of abundance. So yeah, it's funny you talk about that. That was actually quite a big turning point for him. He went away from that and he felt a bit weird. He said he felt really weird because I can't remember if he himself is Jewish or not. I can't remember, but regardless, he felt weird after the date and he came and talked to all of us in the coaching group and he's like, I feel a bit weird, you guys. Like I went on this date with blah, blah, blah. and I ended the date and I'm not going to see her again. And we talked him through that. We were like, dude, this is actually a success. This is beautiful. Yeah, this is a really obvious deal breaker for you. This is right there in your face. Like, she was saying some pretty racist stuff, was my understanding. From my memory, she was saying some pretty hardcore stuff. She wasn't just saying like, I don't like this type of people. She was straight up like fully getting in there with the like really severe judgmentalism. And so that was a beautiful turning point for him to go, wow, I can be really attracted to someone, but if I don't like their personality or their beliefs or their principles or something, I'm allowed to say no. And for a lot of guys, they're so hyper focused on attractiveness that it's all they care about, like of women. And so they'll see a woman and they'll just be like, she's a 6, no, she's a 7, no, she's a 4.3. Like,
I
and they'll
think
argue
especially
over
with
that.
people that aren't that experienced, like
Yeah,
who
when you're
haven't had a lot of
inexperienced,
sex.
yeah, any of you listening, and this is not a criticism, but any of you that judge women, and it's okay to do this, but if you judge women solely on appearance and like you're literally saying this woman's a 7, nah, she's an 8, like that immediately tells me that you don't have much sexual experience, and that's okay. I used to do the same thing. I used to think that sex or attractiveness, sexiness was the only metric that mattered when it comes to sex. And that's what most guys think when they're at the beginning of their sexual journey. But as you start to meet a few people and you stick your penis in some people, or you go on dates with some people that maybe you don't love their personality, and that personality comes out and you go, on one hand, I thought I was supposed to want to have sex with people. I thought I'm here to get sexual experience. Why don't I want to sleep with her? Is something wrong with me? It's like, no, you've just realized that there's more to life than just someone's physical fucking appearance. Their personality counts for a lot. And guys that have had a lot more experience, or are maybe a little bit wiser, or they just knew this by default, realize like, yeah, personality counts for a hell of a lot. Like people like Cam and Ed and Taylor, my other 3 coaches in the coaching program, they talk all the time. They're like, I care more about personality, if anything. Like, she has to hit a baseline level of we have to have a baseline level of attractiveness between us.
So there's chemistry.
There has to be some sexual chemistry and attraction there for both of us. But once that's handled, the personality is what I'm screening for. Like, that's the thing I care the most about, because that's the thing that changes the most. Like, appearance, as long as someone is attractive enough that you could really have a great time with them and you like their body and they like yours, more attractiveness is nice, sure, but more personality is like 10,000 times nicer. It just makes more of a difference. So yeah, he realized I don't have to stick my penis in or spend my time with a racist. So that was a big thing for him. The back-to-back dates on one day was really cool as well. So he saw one woman and then a couple of hours later saw another woman. That was a big thing for him because that really taught him, holy shit, I have some abundance. I don't have to wait like weeks or months between each date. I can have so many people from dating apps and from in person. He talked to a lot of women in person. I can have multiple people that want to spend time with me. Holy shit, I have options.
And I think the cool thing about like clearly, well, he went on 11 different dates and having like quite a bit of variety there. Like he's listed that it was like 20-year-old, 30-year-old, like various people. Like I think the beauty of that is that you get to hit like different limiting beliefs or like expectations or judgments about dating by just giving yourself more experience and showing that certain things that you believe to be true aren't. And obviously the more experience that you get, and it doesn't have to be necessarily sleeping with people, but even if it is just going on dates, you learn a lot, you figure out a lot, and then you get proven wrong a lot in a good way.
So much, yeah. Yeah, a lot of you listening believe like for you older guys in your 30s or something, you're like, no 18 to 25-year-old would ever want to go on a date with me because I'm too old. And it's like, that's just full of shit. You're so full of shit there. There's so many women that would. No older women would want to go on a date with me because I'm too young or something. Like I think this guy was like 20 something, if I remember. So a 20-year-old was quite a bit younger than him, and a 30-year-old was a little bit older than him. So we had those limiting beliefs. No older woman would want to date me. It's like, that's not true. No racist would want to date me. He probably didn't have that limiting belief, but he shattered that if he did. Now he knows racists will go on dates with him. But he had the limiting belief of, I can't have 2 dates in one day. Yeah, that's not true. You can. And a lot of you have a limiting belief of like, I can't get with a woman who's into the gym, like a fitness bunny. I can't have a threesome. I could never date someone who's taller than me. I could never date someone who earns more money than me. Like, it's all just limiting beliefs. And you really do realize, like you said, how wrong you are when you actually go and try.
And the next thing that this guy lists is that he overcame his ruminating and anxiety about going on dates. And same thing, like the practice of going on more dates is really going to help you get over a lot of this stuff. And even for the next point, like you got excited about dates and stop viewing them as a chore. I'm sure this was something that you guys would have worked on in the program, but if you are wanting to go on more dates, have more sexual experience, if you're not enjoying the experience, you're not going to be energized or motivated to keep trying to have more of that thing. If you view dates as a chore, if you feel like they're going to be a lot of effort, you're going to self-sabotage and like not organize them and not be enthusiastic, and women are going to pick up on that energy and not want to go on a date with you. But when you start changing your views on dating and get excited about that, it's going to result in more success for you.
It feels like such an obvious statement, but people just don't realize they're doing it. If you view dating or business or the gym or losing weight or making friends or any of this as a chore, you will do less of it. You will procrastinate. We procrastinate our chores because we don't want to do them because they seem like homework. How many of you right now listening are in like university or college and you're like, man, I always leave my assignments to the last minute. Yeah, because it's a chore that you don't want to fucking do. Technically, you really don't want to do it. You wish you could just get the degree and have the knowledge downloaded into your brain. You don't want to do all the tests and assignments and exams. They're stressful. You avoid them. And so if you view dating or anything else as a chore, you just won't try as hard. You'll see it as annoying. You won't go on as many dates. You won't talk to as many women. Like you literally won't succeed as much. So if you can switch your mind around and say, this is fun. I'm doing this to have a good time. I'm going to let go of my expectations. And he goes on to say, I stopped performing on dates. Yeah, I don't have to be a performing, dancing little monkey who does everything perfectly. I can just go to the date and chill, and she can chill, and we can have a chill time. And if we like each other, that's amazing. We can move it forward. If we don't like each other, that's cool. We can go and see other people. You don't have to do a good job. You don't have to perform. He even goes on to say, I stopped stressing about sending the perfect text to girls. Yeah, so many people come to the coaching, or those of you in the audience, and they're like, what do I say to this girl? And I'm like, all right, what do you want to say to her? And they're like, well, I think what I want to say is like, I want to get the message across of this and this and this. And I'm like, cool, text that to her. And then they do it. And they're like, oh, but I didn't need to phrase it in the perfect way. What the fuck? Is she phrasing things in the perfect way? No, like read her text messages. Read the text messages of the vast majority of women. They're not good. Like, no offense, ladies, but you'll text like shit. And lots of men do too. You don't have to be perfect. She's embraced the idea of like, I don't have to sit there and, okay, some women will literally talk to their girlfriends and be like, what do I say to him? And they'll all sit around for like fucking forever trying to craft the perfect text message. But a lot of women are just like, no, I'm just going to text. I don't have to be perfect. And so you don't have to be perfect either. If she's not perfect, why are you trying to be?
The next point was that he was honest, vulnerable, and deep on dates, which was one of the goals at the beginning. And I think that's a big one again. It seems like there was definitely this shift in this guy changing a lot of his mindsets or approaches to things.
And having more fun with it, yeah.
Yeah, and I think this ties in really well to the relaxing, not feeling like you have to perform or be perfect, is that you're just allowed to say what you're feeling and be honest and be vulnerable, like share a lot of yourself and trust that that's going to be okay and it's going to be enough and that it's not going to get judged.
Yeah. And he sent texts to every girl that he went on a date with that he didn't want to see again. Yeah, because a lot of people struggle with like, how do I tell someone I don't want to go on a second date with them? I feel guilty. I feel bad. What's the perfect way to say it? Should I ghost? I know ghosting has this terrible reputation, and fair enough, because a lot of people take it personally. I used to, so did you. But the reason that people ghost is because they're scared to say, I don't want to see you again. Because a lot of people don't handle that very well, do they? A lot of people have a fucking freak out if you say, hey, I don't want to see you again.
Yeah,
Or some amount of people will freak out over that.
quite personally.
Yeah, they'll be like, fuck you, like, why don't you want to see me again? So lots of people say, okay, it's easier for me to just block their number and ghost them and not send anything. And obviously in the coaching and in this content, that's not what we encourage. We say, just send a little text, say, hey, I had fun, but I wasn't really feeling the chemistry, so I don't want to do this anymore. But I hope you find what you're looking for. Just a nice, polite text, had fun, didn't feel the chemistry, hope you find what you're looking for. And he was able to do that with everyone. He felt really good about himself. So many people have this like strong baggage from all the times they've ghosted in the past, or they might have the other people might have ghosted them. And it feels like this beautiful awakening to realize, oh shit, I can just say, I don't want to see you again, or I don't want to do this again. And the person will, for the most part, most of the time, take it pretty well. If you're nice, even if someone has a bad reaction, which is like, let's say 1 in 50 people will have a bad reaction to that. That 1 in 50 is so rare that you realize, oh shit, they're probably just being butthurt. Like, what got up their ass? Like, I don't owe them a second date. Why are they freaking out? They're probably going through their own pain, feeling their own suffering, having their own stories, blah, blah, blah. So you don't take it personally. So he did a good job there. In line with that, he overcame most of the guilt and anxiety over ending things with girls. Yep. He started screening for personality and physical traits that he likes in women. This again is really powerful to realize that you have options, that you can now start to be not fussy, but like you can start to decide who you want to be with. You don't owe your penis or your vagina to literally every person that might want it. You're allowed to screen for personality. You're allowed to say, what are your goals and ambitions? And if someone says, my ambitions are watching Netflix and sleeping all day, then you can be like, I don't really like that. I want to find someone cool and ambitious. Like you're allowed to have preferences. I think a lot of women know that by default, as we've said, but a lot of men don't know that they're allowed to have preferences, or you've just never explored them because you're so desperate to cling on to anyone that will give you attention because you don't feel like you have options.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't have options.
I think that ties in really well to the sense of building a sense of abundance, and like there's enough women on this planet that would be into me that I don't need to take the very first opportunity that I get.
I
Like
don't need
there's
to,
going to be
like-
somebody that I also like that's going to be into me
Yeah.
as like a baseline. I'm allowed to have this.
Yeah, and he goes on to say, I started seeing rejection as such a beautiful, positive thing. Yeah, that's something that we switch around for a lot of the coaching clients is like, rather than seeing rejection as this painful, awful thing where she hurt me or he hurt me, they said no, they turned me down, I'm less than, I've lost something because someone didn't want to fuck me, which is an absurd premise when you think about it, but that's the way that our brain works by default. We get people to switch that up and be like, all right, come up with 10 reasons why this rejection is a good thing. And you might be like, how could it be a good thing? Well, she's got strong boundaries. She's teaching you boundaries. Now you can say no to the next person you don't want to sleep with because you can just use her as a learning lesson. Number 3, she's saying yes to what she wants. A no to you is a yes to herself. Number 4, it's not even a rejection of you. She's rejecting your offer. Number 5, this is great. Now you don't have to spend time with someone that doesn't want to be with you. Imagine how shit that would be, spending time with someone that doesn't want to be with you. Number 6, she's not wasting your time, so she saved you a whole bunch of time. Like, we could keep going. You can come up with like fucking 50 reasons why it's a good thing. She's helping you practice your stoicism. You're now going to be more resilient. You're now better at taking a no and not taking it personally. You get to share it in the coaching group, and because you will overcome this rejection and be stronger for it, you'll inspire the other people in the coaching group. So you get to have a positive influence on them. We get to build camaraderie in the coaching group because if you're hurting after someone says no to you, then we can rally around you, give you a hug, help you focus on your own self-love and realize your own self-worth. There you go. That's another one. You get a chance to practice loving yourself. If someone else says no to you, why don't you say yes to yourself? In other words, be a best friend to yourself, look after yourself, build an awesome life so you don't need someone to say yes to you. Your life is already kick-ass, and if they want to join you, amazing. If they don't, that's cool. See, I just came out with 13 reasons rejection is a good thing. And so it's really fucking easy to turn it around. But sometimes you need a coaching group or something because you're not going to think of these things on your own. But when you have like 15 people around you who are like, bro, this is amazing. This is so cool, dude. Look how brave you were. And you're like, oh, but I thought this was bad. I thought I should feel ashamed and guilty and shit about the fact someone said no to me. And we're like, dude, what are you talking about? This is amazing.
Yeah, and a group of people to almost keep reminding you of that. Like,
Yes.
it's okay to hear it the first time, and maybe a
And then
friend
you
will give
forget
you
it.
that. But yeah, maybe a week later, you're like, oh, I'm ruminating on this thing that happened or this rejection, and then it can help to be reminded again, and to have a community of people that are working on the same thing that understand. Because sometimes friends or your existing social network might not always align with what it is you're trying to do.
They might not fucking get it. Yeah. Sometimes like a lot of you just have normal friends that maybe aren't into this shit. And so you'll be like, hey, I hit on this girl and she said no to me. And the first words out of their mouth, I'll see if you can guess what they might say.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh, that sucks. Oh, that's awful, bro. Oh, that fucking sucks. And now you feel shit because someone just told you that sucks. That makes you feel shit.
Yeah, I mean, there's a relief to it. It's like sometimes there's a catharsis to everyone kind of wallowing in the misery together. Like that's often
But now
what
we've
people
established
want to.
I hit on a woman and then we all feel bad for the next hour or two or week.
Yeah,
Whereas in a coaching group, it's like, bro, this is cool. And you're like, wait, what? Why is this good? And then you feel good 3 minutes later, and we all get to celebrate this huge victory and this act of courage from you. And wow, you're a warrior. Dude, you're amazing. And isn't it cool that she knows what she wants and she was able to say no? Wow, she's brave. She hurt your feelings. She was literally brave enough to hurt your feelings instead of doing something she didn't want to do just so your precious feelings didn't get hurt. Wow, she's fucking brave. Isn't she brave? And then they go, wow, actually, you know what? I'm grateful. I would rather she say no to me than fuck me just out of pity. Wow, what a brave woman she is. And they feel good. So yeah, like you said, it really helps having a coaching group or a group of people around you going, this is amazing, this is a good thing.
Dating's not necessarily like sales, but in previous sales jobs, something, and I think most sales jobs, something that they remind you of is like the rejections aren't bad, because if you focus on the rejections, you're going to not
Feel shit.
Yeah, you're not going to do sales. Part of sales is getting rejected a lot of times a day, especially when it comes to like cold approaching, cold calling, and things like that. And so you have to be like, no, that's great. It gets me closer to the person's
I've
going to say
saved
yes
time.
next.
They
Yeah,
said
exactly.
no, they've saved me time. Thank you for saving me time. I appreciate you. You're a fucking blessing to me. I'm going to go talk to the next person.
Yeah, and dating, like sales, it's kind of imperative that you do not dwell on rejection, because otherwise you're going to get disheartened very quickly and give up. And if you do want to have a beautiful, abundant sex and dating life and find really amazing people, like not everybody's going to be a good match for you.
Correct.
You might not like them, they might not like you, and you're going to have to filter through some people. But if you focus on every single like interaction that doesn't turn out perfectly,
You're going to have a bad
you're going to
time.
give up. And that's probably a lot of where like people who become frustrated and disillusioned and hopeless with dating, like that's where a lot of that mentality can come from.
As for his lifestyle, he quit kratom, which was something that he was addicted to, and he's had no real cravings since he started going after what he wants. Yeah, this is a big thing. A lot of you are wanting to work through porn or alcohol or anything else. The way that you work through it is not by just not doing it. Then when you're sad or you're lonely or you're tired or you're bored, you'll just go running straight back to it. You have to replace it with a higher purpose. This just comes straight out of the Alcoholics Anonymous program. You have to have a higher purpose or a deeper meaning. That could be God or the universe. That could be love. That could be a self-improvement goal. That could be friends and accountability partners. Like he didn't want to let us in the coaching group down, which is one of the benefits of being in a coaching group, is like all these people believe in me. That's my higher purpose. I want them to be proud of me. I want them to tell me I did a good job. So why would I use kratom or look at porn or any of that? I want them to pat me on the back because I had another day of success. And so that's your higher purpose, but you need some sort of higher meaning. So he also quit porn. Yeah, same thing. He exercised 5 days a week, meditated 5 days a week, journaled 5 days a week, started accountability check-ins with, and then I've blocked out the person's name, but with one of the other people in the coaching. So something we do in the coaching is we hook you up with another person in the program, and then your accountability partners. You keep each other going, you motivate each other, all of that beautiful stuff. So yeah, this is a very common thing that people will come and build beautiful big habits, exercising, meditating, journaling, accountability, quitting porn, kratom. That's a lot. That's like a lot. This guy did a lot more than a lot of people do. Like this guy crushed it in his fucking time in the coaching. Part of that is the accountability from us, the coaches, from the other clients, from the accountability partner that we set you up with, all of that sort of stuff. So he did a good job.
And then he goes on to talk about the improvement with his mindset. He started doing the work, Byron Katie's the work.
So that's basically letting go of your limiting beliefs. You could phrase it like that.
He overcame fear and limiting beliefs around approaching women, processed a bunch of thoughts and feelings from his breakup, got way deeper with his friends and strengthened those bonds. That's a really beautiful one.
This happens a lot where people come to the coaching for one mission, like I want to improve my sex life. And we go, cool, you're going to do that by being open, honest, deep, and all of that. So they'll start practicing that. And then they'll mention one day just offhandedly, I'm struggling to open up to my friend, blah, blah, blah. They'll just mention it offhand. And I'll be like, all right, bro, let's go deep on this. What do you want to say to your friend? And then they'll tell us what they want to say to their friend. And we'll go, okay, bro, right now, right here on this call, everything you just said, we're all going to wait for you to do this. Type that out in a text message to your friend. And they're like, oh, like what if, wouldn't it be weird to phrase it like that? And I'm like, no, stop. Type it out. We're here with you. We're going to hold your hand through this. Text that to your friend. And they're like, oh, but it's 11 p.m. at night right now. Like, what if I wake him up? It's like, stop. No, chill. Type it out. Send it to your friend. Do it. And then they'll type it out. And then their friend will get back to them the next day or whatever. And they'll be like, holy shit, you guys. Like that, we just had this deep fucking 5-hour conversation. I've never been this open and honest with my friend. And then he told me some stuff. And then we had this big chat. Bro, you guys improved my friendship so much. So you have these big victories in like dating or something. And they'll apply to other areas of your life. This is so common that people will say, I went deeper with my friends and family and blah, blah, blah.
And it's almost like you need to learn that lesson multiple times. Like you learn it with dating, but then without kind of fully realizing or having your own like limiting beliefs around friendships or familial relationships and feeling like it's a different thing and it's not the same when it really is. Like connecting with people, it really is all the same. It's about being honest, open, vulnerable, and it's up to them whether they want to give that back.
He goes on to say, I started telling my friends that I'm grateful for them and I love them. This is something a lot of people in the coaching do. So we practice in the coaching group gratitude. Like I will literally encourage other people in the group to practice gratitude. I'll say gratitude stuff. We'll have a post in there that says, hey, everyone, write down 3 things that you're grateful for right now. Like I'll get people to start practicing gratitude. And along with that, they'll sometimes say, I'm really grateful for my friends. And my very next sentence will be, have you ever told them that? And they'll be like, they know. And I'm like, no, have you ever told them that? And they're like, well, wouldn't it be weird to say that? Wouldn't it be weird to say I'm grateful for you? And it's like, are you grateful for them? Yes. Why would it be weird to tell the fucking truth? You're not being weird. You're stating a literal fact. Is the sky blue? Yes. Does a cat meow? Yes. Does a dog bark? Yes. Are you grateful for your friends? Yes. Would you lie about any of the first 3? The sky isn't. I can't say the sky is blue. That's weird. I can't say that a cat meows. That's weird. So why is it weird to say I'm grateful for you? You're telling the fucking truth. You're not trying to get something out of your friend. You're not trying to make him feel weird or manipulate them. You're just stating a fact. Hey, friend, it's a fact that I'm grateful for you. That's it. It's a lot easier than you think.
It's funny, the first few times that I started doing this a little bit more, and this was years and years ago, but sometimes like I'd just send a text to one of my best friends like before bed, and then I'd go to bed, and I'd kind of get a slightly worried text from them like 15 minutes later being like, are you okay? Is everything
Yeah,
all
you're like,
right?
hey, I'm grateful for you. And they're like, where are you?
Well,
Are you
often
about
it-
to die? Like,
Often
what-
it was a bit more like, it was a bit more wordy and
I just want you to
quite
know
personal.
that.
Yeah. And then I would have gone to bed and like not, like I was sleeping, and then they kind of texting me being like, is everything okay? I'm worried. And yeah, in the morning I wake up, I'm like, no, it's fine. I'm just grateful for you.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think most people in my life have learned that it's fine.
But isn't it funny? Because I went through the same thing too. Like when I first started telling people that I loved them or I was grateful for them, because I just never had said it really. And so same thing. People were like, is everything okay? Like, are you going through some shit right now? Like, are you on drugs right now? Like, why are you saying that? And you're like, nah, bro, isn't it weird that I never tell you that I appreciate you, dude? Like, isn't that strange that we've been friends for like 10 fucking years? And maybe once or twice in that time, I've told you that I appreciate you. That's weird. And so I just started saying it more. And now I say it after every hangout. Literally every time I hang out with my friends, even friends I've been friends with for like 10 years, we'll hang out. I'll text them immediately afterwards, like freaking 10 minutes later. I'll be like, bro, I appreciate you so much, dude. That was so cool. Thanks for chatting. I really appreciate what we talked about. That helped a lot. Or like, man, it's so good to catch up, bro. I always feel like I leave these conversations feeling so much better, dude. Like, thank you, man. So I'll just say that. You don't have to have this big fucking grand sweeping statement of like, I love you, my friends. You are the best humans on the planet. You can just be like, bro, I fucking appreciate our friendship, man. Thank you. Like, cheers, dude. Like, you're such a good friend, bro. I really appreciate you. Like, just the littlest bit. And he started doing that a lot.
He started calling his parents every week, and he stopped feeling shame for doing or not doing things.
That is such a big one. So many of you in the audience and so many coaching clients are doing everything in your life out of shame and guilt and force and willpower and motivation. You say, I should go and talk to girls. I have to do this. I really should clean my apartment. I shouldn't be such a lazy piece of shit. You're just using guilt and shame for everything. And it just makes you procrastinate and you don't enjoy it. It's really hard to enjoy cleaning your house if you're like, oh, I should do this. Like, it doesn't feel good. But if you're like, man, I will feel so much joy when I get to look around my apartment or my house and it's nice and clean. All right, I'm going to do it out of joy. I'm going to do it out of the joy of the reward rather than the shame and guilt of not doing it. So that was a big game changer for him for sure.
Yeah. And there are some things where you genuinely like, there's no amount of mental gymnastics I can do to make myself enjoy this task. Like, can I outsource it? And this is obviously something else that this guy did to help remove some of the things that he didn't really enjoy doing.
Yeah. He goes on similarly to say, I stopped using guilt as my main motivator. I took steps towards improving my sex drive. So he had a relatively low sex drive. That's something that we work on a lot of people with. Years of porn, years of maybe not sleeping that well. Some of you might have low testosterone. We've worked with a lot of people on like, go get your blood test. Let's look at this. Maybe you haven't been to the gym very much. You haven't built much muscle. Maybe just your diet hasn't been great. A lot of the time it's just sleep and porn. It's like literally just those two. Maybe you're an older man and you need to hop on testosterone replacement therapy. I'm on that. But there's things you can do. And so, yeah, we've worked with a lot of coaching clients on this. Ed is kind of the resident. Ed is one of the coaches. Ed is kind of the expert on testosterone. Like he's just the fucking expert on hormones and all of that. So he helps people with that as well. And then finally, I practiced non-attachment by controlling or celebrating my actions and rather than the outcomes. This seems like a little bit of a small one, but it's a huge one. If you guys and girls can focus on taking action rather than obsessing about the outcome, in other words, if you can be outcome independent and not get butthurt if one person doesn't want to sleep with you, and instead just say, okay, what can I control? She doesn't want to sleep with me. Beautiful. I love that she knows what she wants. I'm going to go talk to the next person. If you can focus on the action and not get so hurt by each result that you supposedly don't get, this is a lot easier and you're just a lot less bogged down by every supposed rejection or failure or mistakes. This guy learned that there are no mistakes, there are no failures. There's just learning lessons and there's the work. And I'm going to get to work and shut the fuck up and not worry about like, it didn't work out for me. Shut the fuck up and go take more action.
Yeah, and that's going to help you for the rest of your life.
Yes.
Like in all goals and all endeavors, not being super attached to the outcome is going to make things easier, more peaceful, smoother, happier.
Let's get into the good juicy shit that you all probably came for. Sex on the couch in Paris while her friend is crying on FaceTime in the other room. So that might sound like a weird sentence. You're like, what the fuck is that sentence? So he was with this girl, he was traveling around Paris, and that was another limiting belief he had. He's like, you can't have sex with someone when you're traveling in a different country. You just don't have enough time, and like no one would hook up with you. And so he shattered that limiting belief. But he met this woman, he approached her in a club, they liked each other a lot. He said, do you have a place? Because I'm a traveler, I don't. She's like, yeah, but I have a roommate. So they go back to her house and they're kind of making out on the couch and all of that. And I think they told this friend like, hey, we're going to be doing some sexy shit out here, I think they told her that. So like, don't come out. But they could hear the friend, and the friend was like talking to her boyfriend or going through a breakup or something on FaceTime in the other room. And she was like crying and shit. And multiple times during this, they both, like, you know, my client and the girl that he was sleeping with, they stopped and the friend would just go, or the girl would go and knock on the door and be like, sweetheart, are you okay in there? She'd be like, I'm okay, thank you, it's okay. And so they had this weird, unusual, interesting, strange sexual experience of like having sex, but stopping a bunch of times. And, you know, my client would be like, do you want to go check on her? Like, she's crying pretty loud now. Do you want to, is she okay? And she'd go like, are you okay in there? Yeah, I'm okay. Thank you. I'm okay. And she's like, okay, like, you sure you don't want me? Like, and she's like, okay, I'm just talking to him on FaceTime. It's okay. And like,
Not the sexiest thing in the world.
weird sex, yeah. That's why he wrote experiences and stories, because he had a lot of like wild stories. And this happens a lot in the coaching. When you start to put yourself out there, if it's in a sex or a dating context or even just a social context, if you just start going into bars or you start going to talking to people during the daytime or you start going to meetups and making friends, like just when you meet other human beings in whatever capacity, you have weird shit happen sometimes, like crazy stories. Like, do you want to read out the second story there?
The choking slap me in the face girl, she slapped him sexually and he liked it.
So he was in a bar, in a club, hit on this girl. And by this point along in the program, we'd gotten him to be pretty fucking honest and upfront. He was really good at being honest and upfront. And so he was very vulnerable. He walked up to a girl. He's like, yo, you're really sexy and I wanted to come say hi. And she immediately just had like fucking kink dominatrix vibes or some shit. And she's just like, oh, you think I'm sexy, do you? And like she starts like pushing back and shit. And she's like, well, you're fucking sexy. And he's just like out of his depth at this point because he's not a super experienced guy. But we had just taught him, be honest, just like don't lie, just don't try and do a good job, just be fucking honest. And so they talked for a while and then they start talking about sex. And he'd mentioned, again, we told him just be honest. So he's like, hey, I've just started getting into some kinkier stuff and I'm just like learning to explore that world. And she was like, oh, you like kinky stuff, do you? And they start like egging each other on in a fucking club with people around. They're egging each other on. It's escalating and shit. And she's like, oh, you fucking like kink, do you? And he's like, yeah, I like kink, like, do you? And all of that. And then out of nowhere, she fucking slaps him in the face. She just slaps him in the face and like with this lustful, crazy look in her eyes. And she slaps him and she's like, you like that? And he was kind of just shocked because he's like, and he's like looking around and he's like, am I in trouble? He's like, am I going to get tackled? That was his first thought. Is someone going to think I did something
like
wrong?
Security gonna,
yeah, because the girl slapped me. I must have been a prick or something. But she had this look of lust in her eyes and she kind of grabbed him. And then they start making out. Or she starts making out with him or some shit. It's just this wild fucking story. And when he's telling this story to us, we're like, wait, this isn't a club, this happened. And he's like, yeah, there's like people around and they're watching us make out. And I'm just like, whoa, what the fuck is going on? I'm just going to roll with it.
To be fair, though, when you're in a club, no one's really watching other people.
I know.
Everyone's
It's
kind
loud,
of doing their own thing. Like
I
it's
know. Yeah.
funnily enough a weirdly safe. I think the only thing that's security, because you obviously have security hovering on the on the walls. I
Yeah.
think they're just making sure no one's having actual sex.
Yes. Yes.
And other than that, or like being properly
Violent.
violent,
Yeah.
like fighting, and then it's like
Yeah.
everything else is fine.
And so I can't remember if this happened in the club or when they went back, but she was choking him like in a sexual way. I can't remember if it was in the club or at home, but they ended up, making out, having sex, fooling around, doing all that kind of stuff. And so this was the wildest experience of his time in the coaching and probably his whole life. He was like, a woman slapped me. Is that good? Like, and we were like, whoa, like, how do you feel about it? That was the first thing we said. I was like, how do you feel about this? Like, are you okay? Was it like, are you okay? That was my first thought. Are you okay? Because a lot of people wouldn't be. Someone
Yeah.
slapped me.
Yeah, they'd freak out and
Yeah.
not like it.
And he was like, I think I liked it. I don't know how I feel about it. And we're like, okay, this is a big part of like kink sometimes. You're like, you try something and you're not really sure how it feels. You're like, am I allowed to like it? Is
I
this
think
okay?
especially when you're in an environment where like you didn't have that discussion first. Like I think it's very different. Like you've
So-
talked
so-
about it, you have that experience in the bedroom after you talk about doing the thing, you check in versus like they just go for it.
She just fucking
Yeah,
slapped.
which is-
So I think let's give a caveat here. If it's
Don't
not obvious,
do
we
that.
do not ever recommend that anyone just slap someone, no matter how much you think it's escalating or any of that. I'd always say like, how do you feel about face slapping? Or can I fucking slap your face? Or do you want me to like beg me to slap your face? You can say it like that in a sexy way. You can literally just say, fucking beg me to slap your face. And if someone goes like, no, I don't want that, you're like, okay, fair enough. Well, I'll back off. Okay, fair enough. Let's talk.
I misread that. Yeah.
Yeah, she kind of just went for it, but he liked it. He enjoyed it. He enjoyed the choking, he enjoyed the sex. But for him, for someone that hadn't had a lot of sexual experience and had only really just recently started going to clubs, and he's, only a few weeks or a couple of months into the coaching program, this just came out of left field. Like he really wasn't expecting this. To be honest, neither were any of I. This isn't something that like happens a lot. But yeah, it was an interesting experience that he really liked. And he's like, I think I'm into this. I think I want girls to be a bit more dominant with me. I think I like this. I want to explore more of this. So then he goes on to say, this is nowhere near as like high as being slapped, but he approached a girl in Trader Joe's and she was enthusiastic. So that feels like a little bit like down back to normal now. We're into vanilla. We went from getting slapped in the face in a club and liking it down to like, I hit on this girl and she was enthusiastic. But this was a really big moment for him because before that, some of the women are shy when you hit on them. They might not be super enthusiastic. They're excited to meet you and all of that, but they're nervous. You're a stranger who just hit on them. They don't know what to do. They're freaking out a bit. They're like, fuck, what's going on? I hope I don't screw this up. I hope I don't say something dumb. Does he think I'm pretty enough? Am I like, they're 2 steps behind. But he approached this girl in Trader Joe's and she was super, super, super into him and very enthusiastic. And that was a big bit of validation for him. He's like, I'm on the right path. My self-improvement is working out. I'm attractive enough that someone would be excited for me to hit on them. It obviously feels good because I just made someone excited. I made someone's day. I made her feel good about herself. And that makes me feel good. So yeah, beautiful experiences. And then the last one
Is making out in a bathroom with a girl on New Year's.
Yeah, he had these crazy stories, hey? Like a lot of wild, cool experiences. And he was someone that was a little bit, like a lot of the people in the coaching group don't give a lot of details about sex. And he was someone like that. So you notice that like he hasn't really talked about the actual sex much, even though he had quite a bit of sex. He's someone that's a little bit more reserved. So maybe we won't talk about that just out of respect for him. But yes, he had quite a bit of sex as well as what's on here. And he had a really fun time. But lots of crazy, fun, cool experiences. And so, again, remembering that everything on the screen here is his final post in the coaching group. And people often leave the coaching with something I really appreciate, giving a lot of advice to other people like he has here. They'll say, here's the mindsets that I'm leaving with. I hope that, some of you can take these on. And obviously, all of you listening, you're getting free advice from this guy, which is really helpful. So I love these takeaways that he's put here.
The first of those is that achievement comes from action, not suffering. I think we have a tendency to conflate like doing big things with having to have worked really hard and suffered and like blood, sweat and tears need to go into making this happen. And that's really not the case. Like it can be simple, easy, everyday action that gets you to achieve really, really big things.
He goes on to say, if I want something, I go first. Yeah, a lot of guys out there are like, I'm just going to wait for the right woman to come. And it's like, bro, if you want something, just say it. Just
I
tell
think
the truth.
a lot of people, whether it's with dating or career or anything in life, they just sit around hoping that something's going to happen.
And then getting annoyed when it doesn't. They're like, it's not fair. Why don't I have this? And it's like, have you followed the instructions? Have you taken all the action that you need to take? No. Then you don't get the thing. Like, it's literally just like following a recipe. You don't get to have a cake unless you follow the instructions of how to bake a cake. And then you're like, why don't I have a cake? Well, have you followed the recipe? No. But I shouldn't have to follow the recipe. It's like, fine, then you don't get a cake. So it literally is just follow the fucking steps. You go first. You make the initiative. You're the one that wants the thing. Fucking tell the other person that you want it. And some of them will go, oh, yeah, I want that too. And you go, wow, now I get to have it.
Yeah, he went on to say that he learned that he didn't have to reject himself or mind read, that he could just ask. And we touched on this before, but the idea that like, oh, she's not going to be into me, that's not going to work. You can just give it a go and then prove rather than assuming the outcome, because a lot of the time you're wrong.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah. Women don't mind being approached. And if they do, they will just tell me. Yeah, he was someone that had this big fear of like, but what if I'm bothering women? What if I annoy them? What if I'm taking away from them? And I was like, that's you playing not to lose. You're so scared of losing. What if I make their life worse? What if you walked over to each woman that you talk to with the mindset of like, how can I improve her life just the tiniest little bit? How can I just get a smile out of her? How can I give her something? How can I leave her a little bit better than I found her? And if I can't, like if she just is like not interested, I'll be like, hey, I hope you have a beautiful day. That's me at least fucking trying. But the vast majority of women that you hit on, as he goes on to say, are nice. Women are nice and people are friendly. Yeah, people that you talk to in clubs, like to make friends with, most guys and girls will be nice. Yeah, some of them are drunk, some of them are on drugs, blah, blah, blah. Just move away from those people politely and in the best way that you can. But most people, especially during the daytime when they're all sober and they're rational, most people are fucking nice. Some people are not. Sure, you don't spend time with those people. Most people are pretty chill. Next one is, I have to do this. No, I get to do this. It's what we talked about before. When you label something as like, I need to do this, I have to do this, I must do this, I should do this, it's not fun. But if you literally just change the language that you use and you say, I get to do this, I'm allowed to do this, or best of all, I'm excited to do this, it makes you want to leave the house and go take action. Like if you literally say, oh, I know I should go out there right now and talk to girls, you don't want to. But if you say, man, you know what, I'm fucking excited to walk out there and talk to girls, you're literally excited. You're more likely to go and do it. You're going to have more fun doing it. You're going to get better results because you're excited. People want to talk to someone who's excited and enthusiastic rather than someone who's dragging their heels because they're like, oh, I should do this. I have to get over my approach anxiety. Oh, I really should hit on her. Like, you don't have the same fun energy.
Another mindset takeaway was him playing to win instead of playing not to lose. So meaning that rather than saying, oh, I want to avoid getting rejected, or I don't want this thing, I want to make sure that she doesn't think I'm weird. You go for like, I want people to be excited to see me. I want to have a really good time. I want to have a lot of fun. You start focusing on the positive rather than trying to avoid the negative.
Yeah, it's like you talked about sales before. Rather than saying, oh God, I'm going to get so many rejections today and it's going to be brutal.
I'm making sure, I need to make sure that people don't reject me.
Yeah,
like, that's your goal.
I have to
your
do
goal
my
is
best to stop them saying no. Or if they do say no, I don't want it to be brutal. You're not going to win as much. Or you might not win at all. Instead, you say, all right, I need to go find that yes. I'm going to go hunting for that yes. I only need one person to say yes. Where's the next yes? Someone goes, no. You're like, cool. No, okay. I hope you have a beautiful day. It was nice talking to you. All right. Is it a yes from you? It's not. Okay. I love you. Hope you have a good day. Okay. Is it a yes from you? It's a maybe. Okay. What would you need for it to be? It's a yes. Holy shit. Okay. Let's have a date. Like you're hunting for that yes. You're playing to win instead of, like you said, what most people do by default, which is they come from this fear-based mindset. They're like, how can I avoid rejection? Here you go. Here's your cheat code. If you want to never get rejected ever, ever, ever again, sit on the couch and never go outside. Then you'll never no one can ever say no to you. It's like a cheat code. If I never talk to anyone, no one can ever reject me or hurt me. Yeah, and you'll be lonely as fuck. So part of this mission that you all sort of have, which is to connect with other human beings, to make more money, to improve yourself, whatever it might be. Yeah, you might go and talk to people that don't want to give you the thing that you want. That's okay. That's part of this journey. But if you never try, you'll never fucking win.
And this is something that you talk a lot more about in the play to win
For sure.
mindset.
Yep. Next one is, I really appreciate you asking, and I don't want to do that. Instead of saying, I really appreciate you asking, but I don't want to do that. So you're switching the word but for and. So if someone asks you for something that you don't want to do, rather than saying, no, I don't want to do that. Or like, it's cool of you to ask, but I'm not going to do that. You're switching out the word but, which immediately makes people feel a little bit defensive or hurt or rejected. You're saying, bro, that's so cool that you asked that. It's not what I want to do. Well, that's so cool that you asked that, man, and I'm not going to do that. Dude, so cool of you to ask. Like, you're keeping it fucking light and easy. And it seems like just such a little small change of switching out the word but for and. But for him, that was quite life changing. He found that really helpful in dealing with his job and his family and friends and stuff like that. When people would ask him for something he didn't want, instead of saying, they shouldn't be asking me for that. No, I'm not going to do that. He was like, I love you for asking that. I'm not going to do it. So freaking cool of you to ask. Like, good job asking this. You'll hear me say that sometimes in content. But some of you guys and girls will ask me for something, and I'll say, fucking good job asking me for this. This is so cool. I'm not going to do that, or I don't want to do that. But here's how you can get the thing you want. Go ask the next person. Go do this. Go try this. Good job asking me. Like, I make it really clear you've done something good by asking, rather than what a lot of people do, where they're like personally offended that you even asked in the first place. They're like, why are you asking me this? I'm not doing this.
Yeah, it's like shaming the person for
Making them feel bad for asking. Yeah. If we can get to a point where we're grateful to everyone for asking and we encourage them for asking, they're more likely to go out and win. And then some of those people will encourage us to win. Like, when you help other people, or you're kind to other people, or you encourage other people, some of them start encouraging you back, and then you win. So you both win. It's a net positive.
Another learning lesson, the idea that I'm feeling nervous and that's okay.
Huge one for him. Yep. And for a lot of you, you struggle with your emotions. Like, you fight against your emotions. You're like, I shouldn't be nervous. I'm a pussy. I shouldn't feel bad. That's wrong. I shouldn't be angry. That's being negative. And it's like, you're angry, and that's okay. What would we like to do about it? How can we start listening to that anger? What can we do about it? How can we, calm you down a little bit, make you feel good? What do we want to do? Rather than saying, I shouldn't be feeling like this in the first place. You do feel like that, and that's okay. What do we do next?
And another one is that I don't have to feel shame or guilt over doing or not doing something. I can just do it or not do it, which ties into one I think earlier before. They're like, it's okay whether you do something. It's okay whether you don't do something. Either is fine. Either is beautiful. There doesn't need to be any shame or
Yeah, you don't have to tell this,
self-flagellation involved.
you don't have to have this big fucking Shakespearean drama just because you chose not to do something. Just own the decision is what we're saying, and take the emotionality out of it. He goes on to say, we are on the same team, as in women and co-workers. Yeah, this is such a big one, especially in dating. So many of you see the people that you're hitting on, usually it's the opposite gender. You see the opposite gender as the enemy, or the thing I have to conquer, or they're weird and mysterious and I don't understand them. They're on your team. Like, you can just talk to them as if they're your teammates. Same with coworkers. This happens a lot in the coaching. Someone will have like almost this battle with their boss or their coworkers or their colleagues or their staff or something. And I'm like, these are human beings. They're on your team. You literally work together. They are literally your teammates. How would you talk to your teammate? And they're like, well, I guess the first thing is I probably wouldn't call my teammate a dick. Or if I was going to call them a dick, I would be honest with them about it. And I'd be like, look, man, there's part of me that feels like you're a bit of a dick. Can we fix that? Because I don't want to think that you're a dick, man. You're my teammate, dude. Like, we're going to have a better business relationship if I can stop thinking that about you. I don't want to think that about you. Can you help me with that? And the person will probably be a little bit offended at first. They're like, I'm not a dick. And you're like, I know, that's why I'm trying to fucking get your help with this, man. I don't want to think like this. And they're like, you're a dick. And you're like, yeah, see, like, you think I'm a dick. I think you're a dick. Like, can we fix this, man? Like, it's hard to fucking work together if we both think that we're assholes. Let's work on this. Don't you want to be free of this? Do you want me to think that you're a dick? And they were like, no, then help me. And so he did that. And that was really life changing. We've had that with lots of clients. There's a guy that just finished up his coaching, like right now. Same shit. He was like, my boss is a prick and he's an asshole and all of that. And I was like, cool. It's amazing that you feel that. But can you see any way that your boss might be correct? Your boss might be right. And he's like, yeah, there's lots of ways he's right, but he doesn't have to be a dick about it. And I was like, okay, so there you go. That's the first step. Okay, so your boss is correct. You just don't like the way that he's talking to you. Okay, what can we start doing about that? Have you ever said to your boss, hey, boss, like, I know you're doing your job. I don't want to be an asshole and tell you how to do your job. I don't want to become the dick or the prick. But like, sometimes I get offended. Like, can you help me with that? Is there something I can do to take your feedback better? Because that would make me a better employee. I'm literally helping you if you help me right now to take your feedback better. So he talked to his boss, and his boss literally gave him a bunch of strategies on how to take feedback better. And that helped a lot. So this is something that comes up a lot. He goes on to say, let's just see what happens. As in, fuck it, I have no expectations. Let's just see what happens. So you see a cute girl that you want to talk to, instead of being like, but what do I say? But what if she doesn't like me? It's like, fuck it, let's just go see what happens.
And tying into the first one, which is Byron Katie's The Work, asking, is that true? How do I feel when I think that thought? Who would I be without that thought?
Yeah, so when you're believing a negative thought or a limiting belief, you just say, is it even true? I could be wrong. This limiting belief might not be true. How do I feel when I believe this limiting belief? I probably feel limited. I feel hopeless. I feel shit. What if I didn't believe this thought? Or what if I just went and investigated it? What if I actually take action anyway, even though I'm feeling the thought? How would I feel if I didn't believe this limiting thought? If I couldn't believe this limiting thought, if it just wasn't in my head? I'd probably feel a lot more free. I'd probably just go and talk to that cute girl over there. And I wouldn't be thinking like, oh, she's too good for me. I'm not good. I'd just go say, hi, what's up? You're cute. Hello. And so there's a lot of freedom in checking how would I be without these limiting beliefs. So it goes on to say, I leave coaching confident that I can find the answers within myself to the questions and problems that arise. That's a huge thing. You all have the answers within you. You just don't know how to look for them. And that's a big part of what the coaching is. I make sure, like the mission in the coaching is to get you to not need me anymore, to realize that you don't need me. You have the answers. Goes on to say, I also have a lot of excitement towards life for my relationships, my work, and all the exciting things to come. I'm so grateful to Andy. That's me. Cam, Taylor, Ed, and he forgot to say you.
Yeah, but I'm not involved in
You're
the
not
coaching
in the coaching.
process.
Yeah, but
I do
you still give a lot of love to all the clients, like you do. And I talk to you about some of the clients, and you're like, hey, that's amazing. Like, grateful to Andy, Cam, Taylor, and Ed, the 4 coaches in our coaching program, for all the effort, love, and attention you put into coaching. You guys are amazing and offer such interesting and complementary insights into life, relationships, mindset, and dating. It's kind of cool, like, take a step back. I take it for granted, but like, it's kind of cool that anyone that signs up for the coaching program literally gets to work with 4 fucking coaches. Find me another coaching program where you pay and they're like, all right, we're going to have you set up with 4 fucking coaches at the same time and all the other coaching clients. And you get to stay in the coaching program for life, or the members only Discord that we have for life, which is basically its own coaching program for the rest of your life for free. It's like, holy shit. You all complement each other in such a beautiful way, and I will always be grateful. We're grateful to him. He busted his ass and did a lot. I also want to thank K, female K, and Q, these are people's names who I've obviously blocked out, for the advice, accountability, and encouragement you guys and girls gave me along the way. With that said, I am content and peaceful in the present and excited for the future.
That's really beautiful.
So yeah, beautiful journey from a beautiful man. He did a hell of a lot. And what's interesting, we kind of hinted at this at the start, but he was really terrified to sign up for the coaching. And he actually had no intention of signing up. So he paid for one of those $200 coaching calls that I offer, where you can sit down with me for a couple of hours and, just talk through your struggles. And he actually had zero intention of doing the coaching program. He literally wrote that in his inquiry, like in his, notes. He said, hey, I just want the $200 coaching call. I'm not interested in the main coaching program. Just want to talk. So we did the $200 coaching call. And this happens sometimes. At the end of the $200 coaching call, after I'd given him a ton of advice and he felt like, holy shit, that was like genuinely life-changing. I was only paying you $200. I thought we were just going to talk for an hour. We talked for like 3 or something hours. And he's like, I think I want more of this. And I literally just said what I say at the end of all of those calls. I was like, hey, is the coaching program something that you want to talk about? Is it something you're interested in? And he was like, kind of freaking out a little bit. He's like, oh God, like maybe, I don't know. I am kind of thinking about it now. Like I thought it was a no, but I'm kind of thinking about it. And it was really fucking terrified. His biggest fear was like, what if I make a mistake and I spend all this money and it's a waste? Like, what if I literally just wasted all this? What if I don't make the most of it? What if I fall off and don't actually use the coaching program? What if I don't fit in? I'm terrified of going all in. And so I just helped him through that. Like, that's what I do a lot of the time. It's like someone's really scared. And eventually he took that beautiful leap of faith. And so obviously, if you're in the same boat, like maybe you think about signing up for coaching, but you're scared. You're like, what if I don't make the most of it? What if I'm not going to go all in? What if it's a waste of my time or a waste of my money? What if I don't fit in? What if the other people in the coaching program are cool and I'm not? What if I can't do, or I don't have what it would take to change and I can't take the action? I promise you, if this guy could do it, you can too. If you're feeling like you can't do it alone, that's what I'm here for. I'm literally happy to sit on a free call with you and help you make that decision. I won't pressure you. I'll talk you through some things. We can ask some questions. And if at the end of it you say no, fucking beautiful. If it's a yes, fucking beautiful. If you have any of those sort of problems, like I don't have enough money, or I don't know if I can do this, or I need to wait till the right time, I can talk through that with you. We have payment plans. It's what I'm here for. And I promise you, if this guy can do it and make all these changes, and he was someone that was really terrified and he didn't have a lot of experience, he went out there and had a whole lot of sex, a whole lot of kinky sex, beautiful experiences, changed his mindset like you wouldn't believe. I promise you, if this guy can do it when he's someone that was really terrified and inexperienced and didn't think he could, I promise you that you sure as hell can too. So we'll leave a link in the description to the coaching program. Very welcome to jump on a free call with me and talk through it. Anything else you want to add to these beautiful people or say to this beautiful guy?
No, other than like if anybody's listening to all of these and feeling like that was a massive achievement, or like I could never do something like that, or I want to do something like that, like again, that is what the coaching program is for and about. And a lot of people can do a hell of a lot more than they think. They just need to go out there and do it. And sometimes a little guidance can help a hell of a lot too.
Yeah, if you're looking at everything this guy did and you say, I can't do that, yeah, neither could he on his own. That's the point. That's what the coaching's for. So many times people will look at it and go, I could never do that. It's like, yeah, that's why you have me and the other 3 coaches helping you. You can do that with our help. That's the point of the coaching program. Can you do that on your own? I don't know. But if you feel like you can't, that's what the coaching is for. So link in the description. We got nothing but love for this guy, nothing but love for all of you. As always, go out there, crush those goals. If you want my help, I am right here.